If you've ever watched The Brady Bunch, you've no doubt seen your fair share of the family's adorable pets. The Brady Kids have had all sorts of critters throughout the show's 5 seasons, like Fluffy the cat, Herman the Tortoise, Spunker Frog, the rabbit duo Romeo and Juliet, Bobby's Parakeet, and Cousin Oliver. Wait, does he count? Most of these furry, 4-legged, feathered, or shelled compadres come and go pretty quickly, only lasting for an episode or two before never being heard from again, which makes us ask, who keeps getting these kids animals? Stop! Even Fluffy, who became kind of a feline celebrity of sorts, only appeared in the pilot episode. But then there's undeniably the most famous Brady pet of all, Tiger the dog. Still, even the beloved canine member of the clan can only be seen in a total of 10 episodes. He mysteriously barked out of existence in the middle of season 2. He bow-wowed out, pun intended, with the episode The Impractical Joker and was never seen again. His empty doghouse stood as a testament to the pooch that once roamed the AstroTurf-covered backyard. What really ever happened to Tiger? That question has stumped fans for decades, but we dug down a little bit deeper through all of the records and have finally come to the bottom of the mystery behind one of television's most famous 4-legged friends' ill-fated departures. We should probably go ahead and warn you, the truth is kind of a tearjerker, so if you're sensitive, maybe you should stop watching. Otherwise, consider yourself warned. Facts First presents the heartbreaking story of Tiger from the Brady Bunch. Before we reveal to you the tragic truth about Tiger, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel so you can keep watching all of our latest facts-packed videos. Tap the bell icon to turn on notifications while you're at it. What did Tiger look like in the first place? Was he shaggy and brown or was he gray and white? No, that's not right. Oh yeah, he was kind of sandy in color, right? No, that's not right either. If you're struggling as much as we are to remember his appearance, you might be somewhat relieved to learn that 3 dogs were actually used to play Tiger for the first season. But that reassurance should only comfort you for a moment before you learn the horrifying reason why so many dog actors were needed for such a simple role. Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady, broke the awful news in 1992 with his tell-all book, Growing Up Brady, I Was a Teenage Greg. The truth is rather grim. In his memoir, he tells it how it is. He explains normally when people ask him about what happened to Tiger, he'll obscure the truth by saying some played-out cliché about Tiger being in doggy heaven now. But the only reason he feels the need to spit out an answer like that is because the truth is hard to swallow at best and gruesome at worst. So according to Williams, during the filming of the 5th episode of Season 1, Kachu, which was actually the 3rd episode to be filmed since they were all produced out of order, the Brady kids all sat around holding tightly onto the dog because they feared he had to leave the family due to allergy-related issues. Throughout the filming of the scene, the dog actor wouldn't sit still. This was highly unusual because Tiger had previously been a very submissive dog. After struggling for several minutes to get the dog to obey, the trainer blurted out the truth. It was a completely different dog. Sadly, the dog that had previously played Tiger had gotten out, wandered around loose, and was hit by a florist truck the evening prior. At the last minute, the trainer had found a vaguely reminiscent look-alike to fit the bill of Tiger. Schwartz confirms the awful truth. As you probably know, Sherwood is the creator of the Brady Bunch. In 2002, he corroborated Williams' story when he was questioned for a book about TV pets. His version of the story covered all of the same bases with a few minor discrepancies. According to Schwartz, the old Tiger had gotten out a week before filming the Kachu episode and was hit by a car. But whether it was a week prior or the evening before, or the difference between being hit by a florist truck or a car, the end result is just as heart-wrenching. Memories tend to get fuzzy over several decades anyway. Questions still left unanswered. Things get pretty confusing when you try to spot the on-screen swap of the 2 dogs. It actually brings up more question than it provides answers to try to make sense of the official story, despite being backed up by 2 high-profile cast and crew members. If the original Tiger supposedly died so early in production, then why was the hard-to-work-with, untrained replacement dog used for almost a year following, for another 7 episodes? The original Tiger is pretty easy to spot. He has a substantially darker, browner coloring for his coat, with little black tufts on the end of his ears and around his muzzle. The replacement pup has a fluffier coat which is much paler in comparison. There's no mistaking the change-up in Season 2, but there's no need to split hairs about the whole thing. One thing that is certain is that Tiger passed on to the great beyond and was replaced by some kind of imposter, then completely poofed midway through Season 2. Case closed. Right? The plot thickens with a third tiger. So according to the Encyclopedia of TV Pets, Carl Lewis Miller, the Brady Bunch animal trainer, says there was actually one more tiger. In the pilot, there's a big wedding party and the dog chases the cat at one point. When little Fluffy was being terrorized, that was technically tiger number 1. He was much lighter in color than tiger number 2, which appears in episode 5. Although it might be incorrect to call the dog from the pilot Tiger, as the only dog to be used for the Brady Bunch that was actually named Tiger in real life was Tiger number 2, the one that came to an untimely end by means of a death-dealing florist truck. Tiger 3 was a handful. Lacking the same extensive training as his predecessor, Tiger 3 was nearly too much to handle. He just wouldn't listen. His obstinance became such a problem that the cast had to, quote, nail him to the floor, as Sherwood Schwartz put it. Of course, no animals were literally nailed to any floors. That would have been wildly unethical at any point in television history, but they did have to fasten his collar to the floor to keep him from running off during shots. Tiger 4 and 5? It turns out there are far more tiger dogs than anyone expected. The Encyclopedia of TV Pets went on to list 2 more tigers as being part of the Brady Bunch historical account. In Season 1, Episode 18, Tiger Tiger, allegedly a 4th tiger was called in, and then in Season 2, the 5th and final tiger was brought in for the remainder of the tiger saga. Apparently, Tiger 3 had become much too difficult to work with, and that's why these additional tigers were acquired. Interestingly, Tiger 5 also acted in the 1975 film A Boy and His Dog. One last time to see the real tiger. Perhaps you're as heartbroken as we are to learn the fate of the real tiger. At least we get to see him one more time in the Brady Bunch series later on in the episode 5440 and Fight, thanks to lazy recycling of a scene from an earlier episode. The original scene was in Kachu, and Alice can be seen washing little Tiger in a metal tub. They took the exact same clip and inserted it into the 5440 and Fight episode and expected no one to notice. Well, that's one way to get a dog to do what you command over and over again. Final thoughts on television pets. It deserves questioning why the Bradys ever really needed a dog in the first place. It seemed like it only made the cast and crew's jobs harder to have an animal on the set, especially later on when the pup wasn't even adequately trained for the job. Sure, everybody loves a cute doggo, but you have to weigh in whether the risk is outweighed by the reward. If the joy audiences get from seeing man's best friend on their TV comes at such a high cost, is it worth it? You also have to consider the animal's happiness and well-being. Did any of those tiger dogs really want to be on network television? Sure, it might sound like a silly question, but think about what happened to Tiger 2 when he got hit by that vehicle. Pretty sure he never asked for that to happen, which it wouldn't have if he was in somebody's warm, loving home instead of being toted around as a barking prop for a sitcom. Let's pause for a brief moment and remember the life of Tiger. No, not the imposter tigers or the replacement tigers, but the real Tiger. He was a good dog, and may he have an endless supply of dog treats and belly rubs in the puppy afterlife. Amen. Well, that wraps up another facts-filled and fascinating video. It's a good thing the Brady Bunch producers finally figured out that maybe it wasn't the best idea for the Technicolor family of 8 to have a dog. Although it's a little concerning it took them going through 5 different dogs to get that memo. Now it's time to hear from you. Were you a fan of Tiger the dog, or did you hardly notice when he vanished halfway through Season 2? Let us know what you think in the comments section. And before you move on to watching something else, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Tap the bell icon to turn on notifications so you can be informed whenever we post new content.